up, everyone? It's Matt Martin with the Grass Factor. Wanted to talk to you about, I show off a lot of properties and projects that turn out well. What I do not show off is things that turn out not so well. So I wanted to take a minute to actually do that today. I'll kind of give you the background. So you got this call latter part of last summer. This particular customer was going to be installing an irrigation system, and they wanted a Bermuda backyard, right? We kind of blew the budget on the irrigation system, so the quickest way to get and cheapest way to get the Bermuda established and back would be to seed it. So this was probably towards middle to end of August that we actually did the seed job. And it came up, we probably had, maybe 70% coverage. It came up, we probably had 70% coverage. And I felt pretty good about it going into the winter. I was going to overseed it with ryegrass. I called the seed manufacturer, and they said, for the first year, let's not do that. And then, after it comes out of dormancy, we get it to all fill in, and then, maybe the end of this year we could do it. Well, the lawn went dormant. The lawn went dormant. The lawn went dormant. The lawn never came out of dormancy. So, behind me is what came out of dormancy. Absolutely nothing. And what's amazing about all this is how much fescue ended up coming up in it. So, what do you do? What do you do in this? When I started getting worried towards the end of April, maybe the second or third week of April, when I saw no green coming in, I put down a broadleaf weed control on it, just 3-way, and I even ran it at like 1.2 ounces per 1,000, so a pretty low rate. And I had spot sprayed some of the fescue clumps and stuff with Revolver, and then here towards May, I had talked to the customer, and customer's like, yeah, we're not getting any green up. So I go ahead, put them on my board to aerate and overseed again. I come out, and I mean, this is what I'm looking at, and it makes you sick to your stomach when you come through the yard and you see something that looks this bad, but you can't get that discouraged by it. We're dealing with nature. You win some, you lose some. You win a whole lot more than you lose. So this is just one of those times where you got to bite the bullet, and get down, get after it, and make things right. So anyway, what I did was I did a multi-pass aeration. I used my 16-inch walk behind on this big giant backyard, and just got it done. And then I went in, last time I seeded with Riviera. This time I went in with, I did a blend. It's called Jubilee. It's a mix of Riviera and something else. I can't remember what the other product is, but I believe it's about 80% Riviera. The seed mix itself is called Jubilee, and it came from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. So anyway, the seed job is done now. We got a light drizzle in the area, and it's going to help this tack down. You can't tell, but it's got a pretty significant grade to it. For instance, it cut my aerator off when I was over in this corner just from the tilt. So, that made it a little bit difficult, and it's just got, a nice slope down this way. Every which way you go, everything runs that direction. So, with the really light rain we're getting right now, it made this ground super sticky. So, putting down the seed, I'm sure I'm going to get good seed to soil contact without a lot of wash taking place, which is ideal. And hopefully we can get this to come up, get some runners established, and get it grown in by the end of the year. Since obviously I was really banking on being able to get it grown in, pretty early this year, and that's not going to be the case. So it's one of those things, you win some, you lose some. I lost this one. And, even though that, I'm the pro that's been hired to come out here and do this, and I gave it my best effort. I did everything I knew to do. I felt like I could get it in, and it would go dormant, and it'd come out of dormancy, and everything be okay. And I was wrong. And, sometimes that happens. And you don't know until you lose some. You know, so there's going to be things that happen. You're going to kill a yard on accident in one way or another. You know, you're going to go out on a 95 degree and spray propiconazole. You'll spray it when it's 85 degrees, and then that day it ends up spiking to 103, and you know the yard is going to die. I know, because I've done it before. And so the only thing you can do is just kind of pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get after it, and you know, make it right. You know, luckily these customers, they were super much cooler than they should have been about it. And so anyway, I get to come out here, you know, run the equipment and try and get things right. So anyway, I'm going to document the process here. You know, today is, what is today? Today is May the 23rd. You know, 11 o'clock in the morning, slight drizzle. It's probably 75 degrees outside. Soil temperatures right now are about 62. So a little low for this Bermuda grass just to come up and start jumping. However, next week we're going to warm back up. So, you know, hopefully we can get some pretty quick establishment there. So anyway, y'all, you win some, you lose some. You got to take risk, or you'll never know what's possible, especially when you're dealing with nature. It's unpredictable. And, you know, you don't really learn until you just get out there and try it. And that's going to go from everything with from herbicides to fungicides to insect controls, you name it. You have to test in order to develop your trade. You have to push your boundaries as a turf manager, and you have to push the limits of the turf grass to understand what's going to work, what's not going to work, what's going to set you apart from everybody else, what is going to set you apart from your competition, what's going to help build your reputation and build your customer base. You know, as you can see, the rest of the yard looks great, but the backyard, not so much. All right, y'all, Matt Martin, Grass Factor. Have a good one.